So to talk about role of mindfulness and meditation in ensuring respectful and safe maternal and newborn care, I have with me with Miss Aishwarya Bhatnagar. She's a host of a very popular spiritual show in California Bay Area on Radio Mirchi 1310 called Spirituality with RJ Aishwarya and Heal Your Soul series. She's a Reiki Grandmaster and practices Raj Yoga meditation with Brahma Kumaris. She's also working in healthcare industry for the past decade and is very well aware of the day-to-day pressures that doctors and healthcare professionals have to go through. Well, ma'am, my first question to you is, since we are talking of patient safety, what role can meditation and mindfulness play and how to integrate or make it an integral part in the holistic healing process?
That's a very beautiful question. First of all, thank you for inviting me on this show and on this, to be interviewed here. So, starting with your question about the mindfulness and meditation. Now, I want to simply ask, like, a lot of people get confused about what is mindfulness? What do we mean by mindfulness? Now, as the word says itself, mindfulness. Isn't that beautiful? It is self-explanatory. Mindful of what? We go in our day-to-day life and literally we just keep on going without even having the awareness of what is happening in our lives. We just go from one thought to another thought to a third thought, and it's just like this. Somebody's like, sometimes honestly you feel as if you have this 2-year-old who's holding the remote control of your mind, which is a TV, and flipping the channels. So 2 seconds you're thinking something, and then after 2 seconds you're thinking something else. So it's like you have literally given away the control of your mind to a 2-year-old. Okay. And now the 2-year-old is sitting with this remote control and actually flipping the channels on your, in your mind, which is actually your television or, whatever you can see, the screen of your mind. Okay. And so 1 minute it's thinking something else. The other minute it's flipping the channel to something else completely different. And now, so I want to really come here and share this, that we all are souls. We are all this internal, consciousness that speaks to you. But since we are all day outside, with these eyes, we are just watching everything outside, we forget to connect with ourselves. So when these channels are being flipped, what happens is the mind, which is now the brain, I'm talking about the brain here. The mind is responsible for thoughts and feelings, and the brain is actually responsible for taking decisions. Now, imagine if you're flipping through the screens, how difficult it is for the brain now, for the intellect, to decide anything and take a decision, whether good or bad or whatever needs to be done. And because of all this mental fog, now the intellect is incapacitated, that it cannot really understand what it needs to do. And because of that, I mean, at the end of the day, you feel as if you're exhausted. Like there's a mental fog. You cannot just express yourself. You feel something, you speak something, and at the end of the day, you're doing completely something which is absolutely different. So what happens is, it's very interesting when you first start with the meditations, and I'm coming to the meditation part of it. What do we understand by the word meditation? And I understand that there's a lot of different explanations, they're out there. But for me, it's personally what I found, the meditation just simply means the connect with my own inner self, first of all, me as a consciousness, as a being, and then connect with that higher power or the divine source, as we say. So when we don't know ourselves, when we are unable to connect with our own selves and we are just out there, it's like a, a mind which is thinking and feeling whatever it is feeling, then the intellect has totally no capacity to understand or take decisions. At the end of the day, you're already exhausted by all this, even if there's nothing out there. Suppose you just have a day off and you're just sitting by yourself. But this unfortunately never stops thinking. And it never does. And it will never do. It will never stop thinking because that's what the organ is designed to. That's what it is. But now, when we become mindfulness, when we come into that arena, imagine yourself standing in like in an intersection and you have a choice where you can go either on a path which is totally dark, totally dark. You don't know about yourself. You don't know how to feel, what to think, and what direction should I choose. So you're standing at this intersection, and it's like, you're all confused with all these flipping thoughts. But once at that point, if you just take a step back, it's all negativity. You know that if you feel at the beginning of the day, if you just decide at that intersection, standing at that intersection, that today I'm going to put a red light, stop with all my negative thoughts, okay? With all the negativity and the darkness that is taking me there, I will rather choose to think happier thoughts and move and take a road which is lit up, has light, has much more focus on what I need to think, how I need to feel. That, my dear friend, is called mindfulness. And that, when you start walking on that lane, on that road, which is totally lit up with higher elevated thoughts, that is called meditation. So I hope I was able to clarify a difference between the mindfulness and the meditation here.
Very beautifully stated. It's the lit up road that you're talking about. So moving on to the next question. Well, I would really like to know, are there any simple techniques which can be integrated in the day-to-day working style of doctors and nurses to create inner calm and focus?
Perfect, doctor. Thank you for asking this question. Coming to this question, now that we have started walking towards the mindfulness, towards this route, which is lighted, which is all full of bright lights. And what are those bright lights, by the way? Those are your positive thoughts. Those are your affirmations. And this works with every particular person. This is especially for doctors and nurses. I feel that they're doing so much for other people on a day-to-day basis. And there's something called in our, in Brahma Kumaris also, there's something called subtle body, subtle energy body. I'm a Reiki master as well. So what we heal is the energy. Sometimes you go to some person and you just stand next to them for like 5 minutes. And without them saying anything, even if you're just standing in suppose you go to a store and you stand next to a person, even without them having say anything to you, you will gauge the energy of that person. You will say something's not right. I don't know why. I just want to move aside. Why do you think that happens? That's because the aura, the energy body never lies. It never lies. It's going to always tell you things in a very truthful manner. And so whenever we go to, especially the doctors and the nurses, they're dealing with so many people who have developed this unfortunate pattern of thinking negative. And they are in this, what I like to call it as a roller coaster ride. They are just going round and round in circles in this roller coaster of thoughts, of negative thoughts. And they keep on going in there. And unless they kind of decide to come out. So even the doctors and nurses, when they're dealing with such people who have, by their own negative thoughts, by the way, any disease that you manifest in your physical body is actually just a manifestation of your blocked emotions. Unless you're able to process those emotions and feelings within, you will not be able to heal yourself inside, because we keep on blocking ourselves with the negative thoughts. So the seed here is just positive thought or negative thought. That's all you need to choose. And that should be a very simple choice for everyone. What do I need to choose? Which way do I need to go? And for doctors who are dealing with people who are in a constant loop of thinking negative about themselves, about others, that energy actually somehow it unconsciously you kind of absorb that energy because you are interacting with these people. But the fact is that if energy has a law, it's a very simple law. It flows from a higher to a lower, and it's a simple science. It flows from a higher surface to a lower surface. So when you start with something which is like you're looking at a patient who's really ill and sick. If you just go with the mental thought here that, okay, I have to do this to the patient and, take care of him or prescribe these medications, sorry, then you are just, being in this role of a doctor. You just kind of, when I say role, the idea here is that we are all the conscious being inside. And this is one of your duties that you are playing in this realm, in this world. So once you start playing this role of a doctor, unless you actually put on a coat, or you have this mental thing that I am my profession, I am my profession. It's a thought, basically. And that thought makes you do everything outside, if you see. At home, you could be somebody's parent. So I'm a mother. I'm a mother. Why? Because I see the other soul, and that soul has given me that right to be his mother. Because he or she has come through me. But they are the child of God. I'm sorry, I'm kind of linking everything here. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this is just your role that you're playing. In that point, if you understand that you are a soul within, you are a conscient being within, and connect this conscient being with the divine higher power here, and take that energy, which is available for all, it's abundant, it's the universal force, life force energy, which is very, very divine, very, very spiritual, very clean. And it has the capacity to heal everyone. So once you as a doctor, even when you're doing your work, fine, you do your work. But at the same time, don't get connected with the energies of that patient, which is very subtle. And you will feel it. Sometimes people start crying in front of you and you absorb that negativity. It's unfortunate. And you feel that, oh my God, I'm sorry, but I can't help. Because now that person who's already on a very low vibrational frequency energy has pulled you down, and you're on the same platform with them and you're sharing their vibes. But if you are, whatever you're doing, if you're looking at the patient, talking at the patient, you just connect from the divine and think, dear divine or supreme soul or whoever you believe in, please give this soul, the patient, the energy and the healing that it needs in order to continue with this journey. So in spirituality, in Brahma Kumaris, there's a very beautiful understanding. And the base of the understanding is that, yes, we have this body, but we are a soul within this body. The soul has this body, not the body has the soul. This realm, whatever we are experiencing, it's all the soul that needs to experience. So the soul experience the peace, the soul experience the pain. That's what the concept is. So I know with you dealing every day, day to day with bodies and patients, it's very difficult maybe to grasp and, to understand, but it is the energy within us that looks for everything which is beyond materialistic, to be honest. Yes, we buy things, but the end result that we want from everything is just happiness, peace, blissfulness, love. That's all that we are looking for. And this you cannot find in anything. You cannot buy this. It is so subtle, right? So
it's all about the experiences of the soul. So moving on to the next question I have for you, that, healthcare workers are really busy in their day-to-day schedule, especially with this ongoing pandemic. So, well, how should the doctors and nurses, find time for meditation? And if they can actually find the time, can you suggest some practical steps to do this meditation and find time for that?
So there's something called attachment and detachment, that whenever you're interacting with any kind of patient, once you have the understanding that you're a soul and you're dealing with a soul who's depleted with the energy completely. So now you don't have to give it from yourself, you have to just align yourself very peacefully. Imagine it's like walking on that positive road. Remember that I was talking about? Now the brain doesn't have to go in like, oh my God, she has this. Oh my God, how are we going to cure it? Leave it to the divine. We tend to get too much attached to the people that we are serving. And that attachment will always bring your energy down first. Attachment is one of the vices. Even in Bhagavad Gita, it's like Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. There's something very beautiful in Brahma Kumaris that I've learned. It's called algae, which is anger, lust. Lust could be anything. It's a desire, had to have those desires. G is greed, and then E is ego, and A is attachment, algae. So when you have this algae, when you have this anger or anything, or especially attachment will always bring your energies down because it's a vice. And we need to replace attachment. Now, if your question will be, if we are not like attached, if we don't have attachment, if we don't have that thing for people, how will we serve them?
Right.
Serve them with unconditional love. Replace it with unconditional love. I'm not asking you to replace the love and the bond between. But then suppose it's like we three friends are walking down this lane, which is dark. It's an alley. It's dark. और उसमें एक सामने आपके गड्ढा आ जाता है और उस गड्ढे में एक पर्सन गिर जाता है, एक मेरा दोस्त गिर जाता है और फिर क्या होता है, एक दोस्त गिरा तो दूसरा रोने लगा, मेरे जो साथ का है वो दूसरा रोने लगा, वो कह रहा है यार तू गिर गया, मैं कैसे बचाऊं तेरे को, ठीक है मैं भी कूद जाता हूँ, मैं इतना दुखी हो गया कि तू गड्ढे में अकेला है, तू डर नहीं मैं भी आ जाता हूँ। अब वो दो जो है वहां से रो रहे हैं, वो हमसे चिल्ला रहे, मेरे को चिल्ला रहे कि अब तुम मेरे को निकालो। अगर मैं भी उनसे अटैच होंगी और उनके दुख में अपने आप को शामिल कर दूंगी तो मैं भी उस गड्ढे में कूद जाऊंगी। लेकिन अब मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, what am I doing now? I'm going to think of a solution because I'm not attached to them, but I have this unconditional love for the souls. I know you're crying. I know you're in pain. Let me help you. but I can only help you by being detached to your situation. मैं अगर उस गड्ढे में कूद जाऊंगी तो मैं भी कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगी. But now that I'm above, energy wise, I will be able to help them by pulling them out. And pulling is only unconditional love. Having unconditional love and compassion for the souls that come in front of you. They are all very, very desperate. They're all very, very afraid. Why? Because they're attached to those bodies. They are like, because we think ourselves as a body. We think that's why the attachment comes. When you are attached to your things, even agar body to ek baat hai, it's a very subtle level, but attaching to your kid, if you have attachment to your kid, and we all do, at some point I was to be blamed of that as well. But the fact is this, कि हम attachment जब होता है तो हम कभी भी उस चीज के लिए अच्छा नहीं सोच सकते, चाहे वो अपना शरीर ही क्यों ना हो और चाहे कोई अपने रिश्ते ही क्यों ना हो. अगर हम attached हैं उनसे, अगर वो हमारा बच्चा 10 बजे रात में बाहर हो और घर नहीं आए, अब अगर मैं attached हूं तो मेरे दिमाग में क्या होगा, इसके साथ कुछ बुरा तो नहीं हो गया, कहीं उसको कुछ हो तो नहीं गया, इतना अकेला होगा, वो ये हो गया होगा, एक्सीडेंट हो गया होगा, ये हो गया होगा. Now I'm not thinking nicely either for myself. Excuse me. Now I'm not thinking nice for my kid, which is already there. मैंने ना उसके लिए अच्छा सोचा, ना अपने लिए अच्छा सोचा, क्योंकि ये थॉट्स मुझे क्या कर रही हैं, मुझे एंजाइटी दे रही है, मेरे हाथ पैर फूल रहे हैं. नो आई डोंट इवन नो कि मैं करूं क्या. मैं फोन करूंगी, एंजाइटी में बात करूंगी, लेकिन हड़बड़ाऊंगी अंदर से. क्यों? क्योंकि वो थॉट जो यहाँ पे क्रिएटेड है, वो सीड. एंड अब जब उस डार्क एली में चले गए हैं तो फिर वो बहुत दूर तक निकल जाते हैं हम लोग. लेकिन when you actually pull yourself out and you think, okay, fine, I am not thinking anything negative about my kid here. Wherever that person is he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. I will make calls, but with stable mind. So in the same way, the nurses will serve the patients that are crying in front of them, but at the same time, with unconditional love, giving them blessings, not entangling into their energy, and giving them patience and giving them radiating unconditional love and blessings will help not only those जो कि गड्ढे में हैं, but also you, because you are yourself calm and composed and you understand कि क्या करना है उस situation में, instead of panicking. So detachment is actually unconditional love. Thank you.
Well, with all that, we're coming to an end of this interview, but I would really like you to summarize the whole concept with my last question, that since we're speaking of the job of doctors and nurses, is it more of the mind or the hands at work to ensure patient safety for safe maternal and newborn care?
Basically, doctor, what I've realized is if your mind is calm, composed, connected with the divine source, not only will your hands be much more stable in doing what they're doing, you have to just do your work. We create 4 kind of thoughts, and I will help you in understanding that. We have first the positive, second the negative, third is the necessary thought, okay, and fourth is the mundane thought or the waste thoughts. And waste thoughts are always, if we are in the past, we are thinking about anything which is in the past, which has already happened, cannot serve us very profoundly in this moment and cannot help our situation. We are wasting what we call our thought energy, the power to think correctly. So now what we are doing is we are thinking about all these things and we are creating those emotions of depression. If you're in the past, you will always create depression for yourself. If you are in future, thinking about what will happen, will I live or will I die, this and that, you are creating anxiety, which will automatically lead you on that road. So mindfulness, mind is calm, composed. I am connected with the divine source. I have blessings for myself and blessings for other people. Today, whichever soul it come in front of me as a patient, they will get that radiation they will get that healing without me even speaking. When they'll come in front of me, they will have these energy or vibes of peacefulness. So not only your hands are working, you will be thinking about the necessary thoughts, what medication, what injection, what procedure needs to be done. Those are very important thoughts. But at least now your mind is not in the past, not in the future, and positive. You're thinking positive, you're detached, you're stable, and now you're working. Your hands are already working on what needs to be done, the solution part of it. And that's where the healing will automatically come, because you are reflecting that energy to your patient. And patients, I think हमारी नजर में कहा भी गया है, जो डॉक्टर्स होते हैं, नर्सेस होते हैं, वो भगवान के समान होते हैं. So now you're doing the double duty in a very peaceful way, because you're not aligning with their energies. You're on a higher vibrational frequency now. So you're connecting to the divine source, and you're just radiating that calmness, that peacefulness. और आपको काम देखकर वो automatically आपका patient जो है already काम हो जाएगा. Just काम हो जाएगा कि उनको anxiety जो होगी, नहीं कुछ नहीं हुआ, ये तो कुछ नहीं हुआ, आप बस अच्छा सोचें, आप अपने फ्यूचर को दुआएं दें, अपने फ्यूचर को दुआएं दें. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, एंजाइटी में हमेशा नेगेटिव थॉट लाते हैं कि हमारे साथ अगर बुरा हो जाएगा तो उस समय अगर पेशेंट जो है अपने फ्यूचर को, कि मेरे साथ भी अच्छा होगा, मेरे बच्चे के साथ भी अच्छा होगा, मैं परमात्मा की लाइट लेती हूँ, माइट लेती हूँ, अपने को भी शक्ति देती हूँ, इस बच्चे को भी शक्ति देती हूँ, इस सोल को जो मेरे साथ आया, उसकी जर्नी मेरे साथ है. So having said that, I hope this answers your question about the patient and nurses, and how to keep that in newborn, because every soul is looking for love and peace and calmness. That's what they're looking for at the end of the day. And if you are able to provide them, or if they are able to understand कि हमें ऐसे सोचना है, तो बहुत सारी चीजों का हल हो जाएगा. So much.
Right. Thanks a lot, Aishwarya, for sharing those wonderful insights about meditation and mindfulness. And I'm sure the healthcare workers that are listening to you today would be benefiting out of this. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's totally my pleasure. Anytime. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you.